for everything goes my way. Let everything wash away. The power of
Well, good morning. It's always good to be here.
Good morning.
Did anybody notice the title of the talk today? Where's the sea? Are you curious? What is she talking about? Well, let me tell you where that came from. That was exactly what came out of my mouth several weeks back. I was on a Zoom meeting with the Farmington folks. We've been going through their bylaws and revising them the second time now through, but I'm hopeful that they'll pass. Anyway, we were taking turns reading, and I was reading, and we got through one. I don't even remember what article or section it was. It's irrelevant, but I read B, and then Tom is the one who, as co-host, had shared his screen, if you're familiar with. So we're all looking at the same version of the bylaws, and I'm reading, but I can't scroll it, so Tom scrolls, and then I start reading. I read B in that paragraph, and then I start reading D in that paragraph. Wait a minute, where's the C? so we kind of talked about that for a moment, and then Tom, he said, I think there's a talk there. Where's the C? Well, when I thought about it, I decided, I think there is something to be mentioned with where's the C? I looked at my own reaction to the missing C, and I was surprised. It's not supposed to be that way. This is B, C, D, not B, D. So it's just like the squirrel. Where's the squirrel? I see a squirrel. So anyway, I was totally distracted by the lack of this presence of C. So I pulled out one of my older versions of it's the template, UWM's template for bylaws. I pulled it out and BD. Well, so did I. Okay. All right. We didn't spend a lot of time on it. After we looked and we saw that we figured it was some kind of, sometimes documents just sort of hold punctuation things and you can't really change them. So Tom was able to get it changed, D to change to C, and we moved on. But I saw how it had just distracted me, pulled me completely off of the task of reviewing bylaws, and I wondered, maybe that happens more in life than I think it does. Going along, boom, 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 and then there's something that doesn't quite match the way I think things should be. Don't we all have our own little things that it's supposed to be this way? So as I thought about it, I began to see it everywhere. I mean, it could literally be everywhere that we do this, that we're going along and something doesn't match how we think it's supposed to be. If you have bills to pay and you look at your bank statement or go on your phone, and see what's in there, and it's not what you expected it to be. Oh, that payment came through. There's not enough to pay my bills. What am I going to do? Where's my money? Or maybe you've been in a relationship and then you see the person that you thought you were getting along with really well is breaking up with you over Facebook, you know? How tacky. Where's my partner? You know, it's just, we can get so bent out of shape about these lack, you know, they're not there where we think they're supposed to be. My job, where I work now at the senior facility, people come in and get resumes, you know, for positions. So we see a lot of people, there's a high turnover in the dining room, so we see people come and go. But sometimes, yesterday, I guess, somebody came in and said, do you know the status, you know, where if I have a job? Where's my job? She didn't say that, but that's another one. You know, you send out resumes and applications and all that, and you don't hear anything, It's not supposed to be that way, right? Where is my fill in the blank? What's wrong with that? Well, for me, it takes me out of my place of peace, or, you know, with my status quo. This is the way things are. I'm happy going along, and those distractions, those where's my something, pulls me out of that peace. I don't like that. I like to be able to focus a little bit more, stay peaceful. Do you remember the commercial? I think it was back in the 80s. Where's the beef? Yeah. It shows a lady, and I guess this is before the time of the huge burgers that we have these days, you know. Back in the day, the commercial was the lady she was looking at the burger, where's the beef? I guess the patty was very small, and so it must have been at the beginning of the explosion of the size of the hamburgers, because now you can get double and triple burgers, and they're big. They're like a third of a pound. But back then, where's the beef? It was a valid question, because sometimes it was just real little bitty. You know, where's the beef? But notice what's happening. That's a commercial, and it is a comical, funny way of getting us to look for something we don't have. And maybe to be unhappy that we don't have whatever it is. Advertisers, you know, that's what they do. Marketers and advertisers, they are trying to make us think that we're going to be better / happier if we have their product, whether it's beer or a house or a certain truck or you know, no matter what it is, or these creams or that creams and all of that. If you just have that, then everything will be fine. You'll be happy. These expectations, I guess I'd call them expectations, is expecting that certain things are going to be a certain way, and then they turn out to be not quite the way we had imagined or wanted. This is not new. It predates even the Where's the Beef commercial, way long time ago. Going back to Moses and the Israelites. We all know the story in Exodus, how Moses was given the task of getting his people, God's people, out of Egypt and servitude. You know, they were slaves to the Egyptians, and so Moses was to go to Pharaoh and convince him that they need to be released. It took 10 plagues to make that happen, but finally the Pharaoh agreed, and the Israelites were going. Now, they'd been slaves for a long time, and they were going toward leaving Egypt, and they got to the river, and the Pharaoh changed his mind and was sending troops. The Bible teacher that I had in ministerial school was funny. She called it murmuring. The people would start to murmur, you know. And so they started right away. What are you doing? They're going to catch us. We should have stayed back there. Well, God told Moses what he should do. He was supposed to raise his stick up, and God caused the waters to part. The Israelites went through, and then Moses put his stick down, and the waters drowned all of the troops. they all go into, go on, and they're in the wilderness then, and the murmuring again starts. And it was, now granted, it was a good reason. We have no water. I would probably mention that too. In the wilderness. Don't know if you noticed. Anyway, but they were like, they were not happy that there was no water. What are you doing? What are we to do? We have to have water to live. Moses goes to God, and God says, do this. Again, with the stick, and touches the rock, and water flows, so the people have water. They go farther, and they realize then they're hungry. They haven't had food. So again, with the murmuring and the complaining, and they're not just complaining. Are you trying to kill us? How are we supposed to live without food? So God assures the Israelites through Moses that yes, there will be birds of the air for their meat, and there's going to be this thing called manna every day. You go out and gather what you need. There will be plenty. And so they lived that way for 40 years. But in Exodus, as I was looking for these examples of the people complaining, where's my water? Where's my food? Exodus 15, 16, and 17 are the examples of these. And they're complaining the whole time, actually accusing Moses of trying to kill them. Complaining. Expectations, in my opinion, are kind of like a double-edged sword. There's positive and negative about expectations. Now in Unity, we have been told and trained, if you will, to do affirmations, to affirm that which we want in our lives. We are co-creators with God, and so by affirming these things, it helps align that to be present. So we do affirmations. We live as if it has already been granted, right? So that's one side of expectation. The other side is not so good. I think if we stay in our human selves, if we are like the Israelites and begin to see ourselves as victims, that kind of thinking, where's the sea? Where's the water? If you stay in your humanness and begin to see lack, if you see fear, you probably get angry at some point. And I've always noticed in my life, it seems that wherever there's anger, usually that is covering up some other emotion, often like fear or worry of loss, that kind of. But underneath that anger is something that's really precious to the person, and they're very fearful about it. So expectations can, when we use them affirmatively, we have one attitude, one way of being with that. If we stay in our humanness and want more or want it differently or so forth, then we're in that lack and fear mode. So that's how I see it with expectations. So it gives us an opportunity to realize then that it's always our choice. Always our choice on how we're going to view any noticing, any time you go, where's my, or whatever it is that you want that you don't seem to have at this moment. You have a choice. We can, and I want to acknowledge that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and often that human experience will get us into those emotions, where's the sea, with a little bit of attitude that I had for a minute. We can shift from that attitude, that human perspective of victimhood and all that, because what do we know? We know, as Eric Butterworth told us, God only wants good for us, always. If we can that's the shift. If we can move away from the fear, the ego part of it, to an awareness that, just like Faith Rivera was saying, God as me, God and I are one. We are spiritual beings. Having been created in love, we have access to all good. I was at a retreat several weeks back. I can't remember if it was before or after I was here. Paulette Pipe, a fellow minister, does these retreats, and she called it, her website and her work is called Touching the Stillness. And for her, touching the stillness, that stillness is that presence, that divinity. And so when we touch it, when we align with it, when we are in connection with our highest selves, that's when we see these things, these interruptions, these distractions differently. We can see them from a faith point of view. It may not be here right now, but it's coming. I know it is. We can have faith, we can have trust, and in that, then we're curious. We're curious to see how it's going to be fulfilled. What's it going to look like? There's a really cute joke about a little guy. Parents were trying to decide if the kids, because one child always seemed to be grateful, one child wasn't, and the child that was always grateful, he was given a small shovel, and a pile of doo-doo. So he's out there with a big smile on his face, and he's shoveling and his parents can't figure it out. Why are you smiling? Why are you so happy? This pile is so big, I know there's a pony in there somewhere. We can be curious about how it's going to show up. I'd much rather be, even if it is shoveling doo-doo, I'd rather have the attitude of, I know there's a pony here. So, we get to choose. We get to choose whether we want to be distracted and then victims, or we want to get distracted and then go back to that trust, that faith, that curiosity. And where's the seed? We created a seed. We can co-create our lives to be faithful, curious. That's a good thing. Let's take a moment now to repeat the words that our way shower, Jesus Christ, taught us in the Lord's Prayer as we move ourselves into contemplation. So if you're comfortable with closing your outer eyes to say it or to look at the screen, together let's do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Oh, so we just take this opportunity to be fully present in this present moment. If you can feel any tightness, any tension in your body, just take a moment to relax. Let that tension go. Let it just melt away. Starting at the top of our heads, we can do a quick scan just to see where might there be some tightness. And as we find it, consciously relax in that place. So that as we scan downwards, our head and our jaws relax, our shoulders drop, our arms are loose, our trunk is relaxed and we allow the chair to fully support us. Our legs and our feet are relaxed and loose. We are still. And we become aware that our minds might not be still in this moment, but we can look at that as sort of like a clouds that are going by. And so as we notice these thoughts, just like the clouds, we can let them go. Just, oh, there's one, and then release it. So that our minds become receptive, almost listening, like quiet and still. Each and every time we practice this, we re-engage that connection. We are reminded again and again and again that we are one with God. That these unique attributes that we each have, these talents and these skills, these little quirks that make us who we are individual, but they are God expressing as each of us. And the whole, the oneness, is comprised of all of this God energy into a whole. It takes each one of us to complete the wholeness. And as we think about how unique we each are, how valuable, how needed we are, we can let that be like a balm that nourishes and soothes. We are enough. We are exactly who and what we are to be. We are love, we are loved, and we are loving. And so on this morning, we have given some thought to the way life works. The distractions that come along and may temporarily pull us away from whatever it was that we were focusing on or the direction we were going. And we stop and we remember the truth of our beings. And then we can once again continue, filled with trust and faith and curiosity. And let us experience some time in stillness. That time when our minds are listening, our hearts are listening, we are open and receptive, we are at one with that presence. We are still. As we sit in stillness, it is not uncommon to begin to feel a sense of peace. Peace that has nothing to do with the outer. The peace that Jesus said passes all understanding. This peace is the truth of us. And as we relax into it, we are safe and we can be relaxed. In that peace and in that relaxation, we might well begin to recognize and feel love. And the love that we experience in our human lives, love of our partners, our children, our grandchildren, our friends, that, while that is deep and profound, we know that that is just a portion of the love that exists between us and the Creator. So much that many of us call this stillness home, where we are love. And then from the love, often joy bubbles up. The joy of simply being alive in this moment, having all the blessings that we each have in our lives. Joy. And we are grateful. As we begin to bring this time of togetherness, oneness, stillness to a close, let us bring with us the sense of oneness that we might have experienced, oneness with our Creator, oneness with each other, the life force that is energy. We are one with that, and we are blessed. So in much gratitude, in much love, we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Wow, the Spirit is rising up in us, right? With joy. Thank you so much for that wonderful message, and we're not going to murmur. We're going to do the other. We're going to What are we going to do?
Shift.
We're going to shift, and we're going to have faith, and we're going to co-create. That's where the C
right.
is.
That's right.
Did I get it?
That's right.
Okay,
Yes.
great message. Thank you, thank you. Okay, now it's time for you to share your financial gifts with this ministry. So if you'll take the gift you brought, and if you'll join me in our affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Okay, our announcements for today. They're in your green, everybody get a green thing? Okay. Well, first of all, today, we're going to the winery. So if anybody doesn't know how to get there, I don't know if you'll get Jane, but you can call Jane. It's out 94. It's at, does it say, the Sugar Creek Winery, Sugar Creek Winery. And that, I believe that's right past as you go through Defiance.
Defiance.
Yeah.
It's on 94.
You go through Defiance and then the winery's right shortly after. Okay, so it's going to be fun. So it is a beautiful day. Isn't it a beautiful day for being outside? All right. Vernetta's class continues on Tuesday night. And it is on Zoom. I don't know if people are taking that on Zoom or it's in person here. And it's also on Zoom. If you want to do it on Zoom, you need to contact Vernetta. And you can see the other things that are in the bulletin because they're, well, no, next week after church, the Unity in House class is happening too, right after service next week, correct? Okay. The other thing I want to really make a big splash for here is our big fundraiser. This is a jazz concert and dinner, and it's ways for us to raise extra funds. So if all of you can take a part in inviting your friends, Wayne's been sending out things to everybody he knows, and he added something really good. He said, you know, come and join us, but if not, consider making a donation. And I thought that's a really good thing to invite people, if they can't come, to consider making a donation. So let's all do our part with that. And do you want to say anything about that, Marion? Marion has got this all arranged.
Yeah, like Wayne did, it's really good if you could take your email and send an email out to everyone you know, or you can go to, or Ann, you can go to the Unity Church of Life Facebook page and share that. So again, we just want to get the word out.
Yes. All the money rolling in. And all the fun. All the fun too. And there's food involved. We always like food. Okay. The other thing I'd like to always remind you of is the Oasis Food Pantry. When you're at the grocery store, just pick up a few extra items. You know, even one extra item. Everything matters because there's people in our community who need our support and our help. Also reminding you again about this wonderful book we have out there that Sarah's message was on in September. It's another one of those daily things, and it doesn't have dates on it. It's not like our daily word. So you can use it anytime you want or choose anything you want, and we have some more of those out there in the back. And I think that's all I can remember. Does anybody know anything else I should be saying? Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to give thanks for our offering. So together in consciousness of divine love, we receive as we give abundantly, magnifying these gifts and pouring them out in service. We celebrate prosperity, and so it is. Amen. Okay, now my favorite thing, we're going to gather around and we're going to share our prayer requests and our celebration.